Hello, good morning. Welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge, 5:31 a.m. Central Standard Time, December 14th, 2019. We have from Auburndale, Florida, King Square blended whiskey. All right. It's dark and foggy outside. Daylight's coming, but it is not coming quickly. Why they have a crown and then a background. There's like a background picture. You probably couldn't see it on the video here, but because of glare and everything, but it's like some old city square in London. What that has to do with Auburndale, Florida, I do not know. It's 27.5% straight whiskey and 72.5% grain neutral spirits, which is odd because usually it's 80-20. Ronnie S. Good morning, sir. Good morning to you, Ronnie S. Thanks for joining us last night for Fandango Friday. And I see that Eric did an after hours chat on his channel. I'd be curious to see what they were talking about. If I get a chance to watch some of that. Bottled by King Square Distillers Company, Auburndale, Florida. Well, it's really Caribbean Distillers. Cloudy morning over here in Tampa Bay area too. Huh. So it looks like from research I've done that the Auburndale facility, this distillery, is mainly a rectifying and bottling plant, blending plant. I don't know really about distilling, in fact. Maxwell, good morning, Ron. Glad to see you. Good morning to you, Max Bolt in the Russian Federation, all the way from Russia, with love. Now, it looks like that used to be part of Charles Jacques et Cie, which is a distilling company in Philadelphia. Charles Jacques et Cie. They might have branched off or maybe it got sold off, or maybe one of the family took it over and it became an independent company branching off from Charles Jacques et Cie. Jacques makes their own blended whiskey and their own, mainly cordials. They're famous for liqueurs and cordials. The After Dark thing was actually pretty lame. I don't think James was happy. Yeah, he wants it to be more like risque and controversial and outrageous and all of that. But Eric doesn't really want to do that. And I'm not have no interest in that because I was laying in bed watching Gone with the Wind last night. I was supposed to be watching basketball and football, but the people he knows at this time are just not interested in that. So he's got to find a new crew to do that format. I mean, I wouldn't watch it because I don't watch that kind of stuff. I have no interest in it. I have a lot of beer reviews still backlogged that I got to watch. You know, don't have to watch them, but I want to watch them. So, I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. Eric said he's not interested really in that kind of content. I'm not, for sure. So, I mean, if it was politics and all, yeah, but then I'd want to do it during the day because I'd rather do it, not at night. That's the 6 at a time thing gets in the way as well. Yeah, people complain, including me, about 6 people only being allowed on the Hangouts with StreamYard, but actually you get 6 and it's hard because everybody wants to talk and it just becomes kind of a mess, I guess. Then if you make it too orderly or organized, then it's kind of dull to watch. So I don't know. I guess the main thing is that it's not really important to stress and worry about it. James contacts me all the time. I want to do this. I want to have this angle on these Hangouts. I want to look at it this way. I want to promote it that way. And I tell him I'm not even interested in promoting it or having an angle at all. Are you opening up the conversation? I can't open this conversation up because it's being done through YouTube Studio. I have to go through StreamYard. Okay. So look how light this is. Okay, let's get back to this. Look how light it's now. Maybe it looks more amber on video, but here in my with the light shining through the bottle, this looks like straw. Yellow, it's yellow like corn liquor, which essentially is what it is, corn liquor. 27.5% aged. And the other is unaged grain neutral spirits. Grain neutral spirits invariably in America, now in Japan it's rice, you see, but in America invariably it's made from corn, maize, corn syrup, corn starch, corn meal. I don't know whatever kind of corn they're using, maize, to make the spirit. Clear, odorless, colorless, clear liquor. The color comes from aging it in a charred oak barrel. Now, these are generally in used barrels, which won't give it a good color, so they'll add caramel color, like the competitor Country Club. I'm sorry, Clubhouse Country Club. I'm thinking of the malt liquor. Clubhouse from Heaven Hill. It's unusually dark, even though it's aged 4 years. Yeah, well, it says on the bottle, at least they're telling you, with natural flavors added and caramel color added. So get the natural flavor and the caramel color. It's unusual. All right, but let's go with this. So could you take grain neutral spirits and make bourbon? Well, you could, because you could take or you can make vodka, gin. It's a versatile thing. You just take the corn liquor. You could make it all corn. Bourbon has to be just at least 51% corn. Could be 100% corn. The other 49%, it doesn't matter what grains it is, as long as it's 51% corn. But let's assume it's 100% corn. You put it in an uncharred barrel, it's corn liquor. Age it. You put it in a new charred oak, could be white oak. Usually that's what they use. Oak barrel, then it's bourbon. If you age it for at least 2 years, it's straight bourbon. So anyway, it's just a matter of looking at the regulations and studying them, and then you can get it took me a while, but you get used to it. Now, these can have coloring added. I don't think they added any coloring to this one. It's too light. This is what you get after 4 years in a used barrel. Very, very pale. Which Canadian Mist looks kind of like that. Canadian Mist from Canada. It may not have coloring either. They add it because they want to make it look tan, like a fake tan, like tanning stuff. I've been listening to music from my youth for the last 2 hours on my balcony watching the rain. Good. That's a good thing to do. Good morning, Jake. Good morning, Jack. Thanks for watching. All right, so here we go. It's time to get down to business. I got water in the glass because, I rinsed them out. I did a Lou Reed highlights video called Lou Reed Highlights. I might do a second one, more highlights. It had so many good songs, but I guess one is enough. But I was thinking this morning, I should have put this song, should have put that song, should have put this song. But I think I put enough of a taste out there that people might want to go buy. And there's so many compilation albums you can buy from him where the record companies will give you the highlights, because a lot of his albums do have sort of low quality songs mixed in, because a lot of the heavy drinking and all, I think, interfered with the ability to be consistent. And just, it's hard to be consistent, whether you're a musician or you're doing beer reviews. Sometimes you're just going to do a bad job, or you're not doing as well or something. Okay. Well, you can see the color is going to be a problem, because we got deep amber from the caramel coloring added, and then we got this very light. I think you can see how light it is now without the bottle. Look how light. This yellow, it's almost not even yellow. I guess it's a shade of yellow, very light. Me and you have very different era of youth in music. Yes. That's right, because of age difference. Okay. And then my father, if it's anything that came after the Everly Brothers in like 1963, he hates it, because he graduated from high school in 64. Actually, 2 years later than he should have, but he was sick as a child. He missed all of first grade with very bad asthma. He had to sleep in an oxygen tent. So, but it's like once he got out of high school in 64, all music stopped. He didn't care about anything after. Not really, If you looked at his record collection, that would be evidence of that. I have bought more recent music. I don't much. I don't go to concerts because I got to where I couldn't stand going. I just didn't like them. They were just boring to me. Okay, that's personal preference thing. Did I go to any concerts I really like? I thought Metallica was very good in 1986 when I saw them in New Orleans. I said, this is the best concert I've ever been to. They only played for 1 hour, and it was all serious. No cussing, no like trying to be funny, because they were still hungry and they were trying to make it. And most people didn't know about them. Well, we did for the past 2 years. So they were very serious. And I got up there and played, and I said, this is what it's about. Now, 5 years later, being stabbed in the back and so terribly hurt, so terribly betrayed, I became very hostile to them. But at that time, that was different. So that was 86, 33 years ago. So I did enjoy that. I enjoyed ELO and Iron Maiden on the second tour. I saw 88. Had a lot more energy. 85 was dull because they're trying to do Samuel Taylor Coleridge poetry in the middle of the rock concert. It was a good time for people to go get snacks because it was like water everywhere and none at all to drink. And everybody's like, give me a break. That was my impression. People were saying, time to go to the restaurant. And I am kind of critical about those concerts because I'm watching it. I paid money, I want to see it when I used to go. Ozzy Osbourne had a lot of energy, but I found that it was too much like a pep rally. You seen one, you seen them all. It was just like a pep rally. And he's the cheerleader. And he did a good job of being a cheerleader. And he's comical. He was comical with antics and certainly didn't take things too seriously. The music was very solid, but it was like a pep rally. Rush was very technically perfect, like the most perfect band on stage, but too perfect in a way that I was at the concert thinking, could have just listened to the albums one after the other. And they were definitely not cheerleaders. They were like, hey, it's what, like, hey, thanks for coming. And they played, and it was like, okay, bye. And they left. I got a kick out of that. They definitely don't put on fake charm and chumminess. And that was their attitude. I can't be your friend and act like you're some long lost stranger that I'm meeting because I don't know you. I mean, I'll sign your autograph and I'm pleased that you support me, but I can't put on. Like, I like that approach in a way. Some people took it as they were being rude and aloof, but they're just being honest. Okay, so this one smells a lot less shocking than it did a week and a half ago. A week and a half ago, I was so stunned, He says, I used to only like rap and hip hop type things when I was younger. And I know some people hate that, but it's not all bad. It has nostalgia a lot for me. Okay. The only rap so-called with people would argue that would be that I have is solid gold hits from the Beastie Boys. A lot of people would say, that's not rap, that's rock music. Yeah, I'll go along with that, but is in the vein of Queens, New York. Hip hop. And they had a lot of exposure to it. They did. Plus the punk rock scene. So this one has a lot more candy caramel, like candy corn aroma. So this has got to be the King Square. It's a little too much candy corn. Like maybe they added, I don't know. They can add blending sherry, but I don't know. I get bourbons that have that candy corn aroma as well, but they just have the charred oak to go along with it. This has no charred oak. Does it have oak? Yes, the wood is in the background. It's wood. It's not wood forward though in any way. Now this one has, it just really blew me away in a very negative way a week and a half ago. I thought, what am I smelling? This smells so bad, wrong, aberrant. That was the word, aberrant. But now as my mind has been able to focus on it properly and really get a conception of it proper, I think they're using cocktail sherry and plum wine. I know Canadian whiskey uses plum wine, and that was what was really throwing me. It has a Canadian blended whiskey profile, really, but it's from Kentucky. So you say, what is that flavor? So you're thinking, here comes some Kentucky blended whiskey, but your mind can't deal with it because it's smelling and tasting like Ontario or Quebec or Alberta blended whiskey more than that. It's almost like it's Canadian Limited type thing. I would be curious to try some Heaven Hill branded, Heaven Hill Canadian whiskey brands, see if they're similar to this. I got a feeling that they would be, but I don't know. And no, they can't add the flavoring in Kentucky if it's Canadian. It has to all be distilled, blended, and aged in Canada. Now they can bottle it in Kentucky or Illinois, but it has to be made in Canada. I read those guidelines. All right. No use closing my eyes anymore. I know which is which. This is the Clubhouse. This is the King Square. That's too obvious. I now have a much wider appreciation of music, including what my mom has brought me up listening that I always thought was not cool, but now I appreciate it much more. The only way you can appreciate rap music is you're from my generation or a little younger. We were not just a rock guy. In those days, you had to choose. It is funny like that because people used to be so divided, like I'm a rock person or I'm a hip hop rap person, and they wouldn't cross over. I guess the Beastie Boys kind of did cross over. But yeah, generally, it's like, you can't. And some people have said, how can you listen to Iron Maiden and then you go put the Carpenters on and you're listening to Rainy Days and Mondays? I don't know. I just like doing that. All right. You can taste the wood with this Clubhouse, but it's very strange. I'm telling you, it's like plum wine and cocktail sherry and some kind of sweetness. The caramel color won't hurt you. I don't care what Food Babe says. And anyway, these studies where the people get cancer, it's really rats getting cancer, lab animals. They inject them with like mega doses of caramel color for weeks. Well, I mean, that's not a normal way a person consumes that. You know, you're not getting injections into your back of caramel color 10 days a month. You know, those studies many times don't have a real world approach. And furthermore, a rat is not a human. They're mammals, both, but you see what I'm saying. So, and these people put that clickbait on the internet and people run behind it. Doesn't matter what, no footnotes, no verification. This is a very interesting thing because I went from absolute hatred of this whiskey. I mean, hostile. I was giving it a D. I dropped it to a D. I said, this is just bad stuff, just bad. Now I'm starting to get a taste for it. It's not bad. It's just so unusual that I think a lot of people would try it once, say no way, and they would never go back to it. I'm not going to understand that. But if you drink it down, you start to grasp good things about it. Now, could that happen with Ron Rio? No. The Ron Rio white rum, that bottle I have tastes so off. I'm never going to say, well, I kind of like the taste of pesticide, you know, Roundup and rancid molasses and sugarcane stalks. I'm never going to start liking that. Will I be glad when the bottle's gone? Yes. Will I ever buy it again? No way. Now, would I buy the Ron Rio Gold or the Añejo? I would probably try those just to see, but I'd be nervous. Carpenters are great. These poor rats that become victims of the experience really are fouled up. It's not right to do that to any living creature. Well, if it benefits mankind, I guess it would be fine. But because you have to be, we have dominion over the animals. You understand? We have dominion. That means rule. We have rule over the animals. Dominion. So it's our. Not to say we should be cruel, but I don't know how well rats and mice carry over to humans. Can't do human experiments because that's unethical. I guess if a person volunteers, you can do human experiments because people do volunteer for studies, medical studies. So in that sense, it would be ethical because the people are volunteering to do it. But to do it on people that don't, like the US government has done, on people without their consent, and like Germany did under National Socialism, they would do human experiments. Now their rationale was, well, it's going to aid the betterment of man. You know, it's going to help improve mankind through good genetics. You know, eugenics, EU meaning good, but it's still unethical because the people have no consent. We need to advance, says Jack Cottrell. Rat experiments are unethical as well. Come on, Ron. No, I wouldn't. I'm not going to say that unethical. It's vermin. A rat is vermin. Sort of like one of these things that they have a use, but it's sort of like to torment us for our sins, you know. All right. The King Square. Oddly candy sweet, strange wood, and even a white pepper, candy corn. It's so much corn whiskey. Not like mellow corn. Now, mellow corn is like really, really good. It's 100 proof. Also, you got to take that into account. And this is only 40. Well, I'll say this is an unusual product also. I would say it's good, though. So if you ever find King Square, and chances are you never will, I found it for $6 a bottle, $7.50 bottle. The other one was cheap because it was $6.99 for a whole liter, the Clubhouse. But King Square is unusual. It's unique. And it doesn't really have a bad flavor. Now, if you're a whiskey connoisseur, you might just be appalled by it. You know, just say, you're crazy. You're on the internet in the morning drinking. I'm not drinking. I'm tasting anyway. And you find these oddball products at who knows what store, off the beaten path. It's off the beaten path. You know what I mean? It's off the path. That's off the path. And then you come out here on doing videos with these strange kaleidoscope items. And I understand that. I would get a lot more views if I was doing name brand stuff, popular stuff. And I realized that. But I have sort of a eccentric attachment to these weird items. I don't know. They're just interesting. And I'm not doing it to say, well, I'm doing it, nobody else is. It's not that. If a bunch of people started reviewing King Square, I'd be interested. But it's when I see these strange things on the shelf, I say, oh, they're usually so cheap anyway. I figure, oh, what the heck, I'll try it. It's so unusual. It's sort of like the lonely little, you go to the pet store and this one, no one wants it. That dog has strange spots. I don't want a dog that looks like a polka dot, you know, and then you say, well, even a polka dot dog needs love. Maybe not a rat. They need an experiment put on them. But you know what I'm saying. All right. Rats are living creatures like us. Maybe not the nicest, I guess. Would you say the same for cute little dogs? No, because cute little dogs are good and they want love and affection from people. And you know, but rats, they prey on people. They're a parasite. They're too lazy to go get their own job. You know what I'm saying? Like a rat is too lazy to go out and work, like go in the woods, hunt, get food. No, they're going to sneak in people's houses and their stores and their restaurants and eat their food. You know, so and mice the same way. The Romans called it Rattus maximus and Rattus minor, little rat, big rat. But they're bad, you know, so they don't. they're asking for the poison. You know what I'm saying? When they get in a trap and get killed and they get the poison, they're asking for it because they could have just gone. You say, but in the woods, an owl will catch them or a snake might eat them. Well, yeah, well, that's the law of nature. Well, tough. All right. Who wins this forlorn contest? A winner. Well, it was no kind of challenge. You knew that fast which was which. So the challenge doesn't exist on these. Sometimes that happens. There's no challenge. You don't even need a tag, you know. But which one tastes better? I'm going to say maybe King Square. I do like the little pepper note. Where that's coming from, I do not know. It even almost has a mint, like almost peppermint. I know that can't be right. And there's a woodiness, and it's light body. It seems light. You know, it looks light, seems light. It's a cheap looking thing. I mean, the label is kind of sorry looking. I saw it for $5.99 at Specs in Texas. I'm here in Louisiana, never seen it. They over there in Texas and getting it from Florida. So why we got passed over, you know? I'm your older brother, Mike, and I got passed over. It's the way Pop wanted it. It ain't the way I wanted it. You know, so I don't know why we're not getting it. There's probably, well, actually, there's probably nobody in Louisiana looking for it. But anyway, I guess I'll go with King Square as the winner. But I would say that I am starting to come around to the Clubhouse. And if you're a person that likes unusual, exotic flavors, maybe aberrant flavors, things that don't really match up, this could work. You know, it could work. It could work. It could work. It could work. Still get 80 proof alcohol. So, I mean, these things are kind of like the freak show at the carnival. You know, it's things that aren't right. They just shouldn't be seen. These are the things that are and should not be. You know what I'm saying? They are and these are the things that are and should not be, I guess. But are rats mammals? Well, yeah, of course. What's the difference between a rat and a cute dog science-wise? Well, science-wise, like I just explained, their nature. The nature of a dog is to be a loyal animal. Generally, we know, we're talking average stereotypes. Man's best friend, defend the person. A rat's nature is to be a parasite, a vermin. It's their nature. Can't change them. You say, well, you could give them counseling. You could use behavior modification. No, it won't work. Doesn't even work on people too much because even human beings at the top of the pyramid, we have a genetic tendency. You see what I'm saying? Your genetics are going to make you more than what your training is going to do. And Hans Eysenck talked about that with his 4 modal personality studies. And he was really well received, Hans Eysenck. He and he really backed it up with studies and things. But of course, he was kind of considered persona non grata later on in the 90s when some people that maybe didn't like what he was saying, they did some background studies on him and found out he had done work with the German government in the 30s and 40s. And he said, well, of course I did. I was a scientist in the 30s and 40s, and I lived in Germany. So what other government was I going to work for? You know, that was a job. You got a job at the university or the Institute for Cultural Personality Studies or whatever. He said, well, of course I did. And they were, you know, they say, oh, no, you sympathize with them, whatever. He said, no, I didn't. Well, I mean, you know, we don't know. But his 4 modal personality studies are very interesting. But he's saying it's a genetic. You're not going to change it. You know what I'm saying? A code. Who wins a fight, a cute dog or a rat? A dog. My dog would kill rabbits. I mean, my dog killed a rabbit in the backyard. My dog was so vicious. And it was a small dachshund, long-haired dachshund. killed a rabbit. Now that, and it killed so many birds, killed, I don't remember a squirrel. Maybe it did. But like the vet told me, I said, what dog bothers you the most as far as getting bit by one? He said, a dachshund. I said, a dachshund? A hot dog? He said, yeah, because they don't give any warning. You just be messing with them and they just suddenly bite. Most dogs will growl. He said they'll growl and give you a warning like I'm about to bite you. Now, he said, not a dachshund. They just be minding their business. You think, and then he says he's very wary of them. He didn't trust my dog, but my dog loved going to the vet. I'd say, Tasha, you want to go to the vet? She just loved going there. I don't know why. Anyway, thanks for watching this video production. King Square wins by a nose, and next time is Seagram 7 Crown. That will be no kind of contest. You can believe that. No kind of contest. Thanks for watching this video production.